to join us. Please feel free to start the transcription if you need, so that you can have the captions enabled for you. Welcome everyone to this session. It's lovely to meet everyone online. We'll give it a few more minutes because we still have many participants joining in the session. It's great to meet you all. Welcome to DigiCONS. And as we're waiting for more people to join, just to say a few words, we have a few more people waiting in the lobby just now. We have 151 registered participants for this session. And we hope that normally you expect that you have maybe 50% of registered participants in the live session, but we aim to give the recorded link to everyone after the end, so nobody misses out. It's nice to see some familiar faces. Welcome everyone. This is a very international event, and hopefully everyone will gain some useful insights after the end of it. Right, so now we have around 30 people who have joined the session, and I think that I know that we have more people joining, but it's a good time to start with our introductions. So welcome everyone. Hello, welcome to Digital Co-Creation with Nursing Students, Enhancing Digital Competencies, or otherwise DigiCONS. We are delighted to meet you all this afternoon or morning or evening. I know we have a very international group of participants today. And this is an international showcase and academic networking event. So we are very much interested to hear from you. Just to let you know that we are now recording this session and we will make it available to all the registered participants. And today we have in the chat with us Palka, who is a research assistant to the project and is going to be looking after the chat. And we have many participants and speakers from the international DigiCONS team. And we're all very much looking forward to discussing with you. We'll start with an overview of the project, and we have incorporated some discussion activities. And after that, we will invite our international external partners from Greece and Portugal before going on to our final call for participation to join our DigiCONS network. So that's a little introduction, but I will start with myself. My name is Dr. Konstantina Margioukou, and I'm Associate Professor at Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen, in Scotland. I'm originally from Greece, but I've spent a lot of my life in Scotland, in Aberdeen. We are very pleased to have you with us today. And we hope that it's going to be an impactful educational and international event where we want, first of all, to showcase our initiative that we have built and we are continuously growing based on a body of empirical research conducted with nursing students. So I should say that the project aims to strengthen the digital competencies of nursing students through co-creation, collaborative learning, and evidence-based research. So today we have brought together nursing academics, digital health educators, and international collaborators to explore the impact, the relevance, but also the global potential of our ongoing project. I've mentioned earlier that we had 151 registered participants for this event, and your presence will bring a very rich and diverse perspective, as I know you all have different experiences, and we really aim to shape our vision for the future of digital skills development in nursing education. So, welcome to all our academic and practitioner participants from the UK. We had several participants from Scotland and the University, Aberdeen, Napier University, also from Bangor, Coventry, in England, Manchester, Roehampton, Staffordshire, Hertfordshire, the Isle of Man, Middlesex University, South Wales, Canterbury, Robert Gordon University, where we are based. And also we have many other participants who are practitioners, policymakers, who have participants from the NHS. We have international colleagues from the University of Portugal, UTAD, of course from the Ionian University in Greece, from the Mediterranean Hellenic University, the University of Maribor in Slovenia, and also participants from the USA, Indiana University, Harvard Medical School. From Boston, we have participants and researchers and academics from Iran, health academics from Dublin, from Saudi Arabia, from the College of Nursing, from Sri Lanka, Nigeria, Egypt, Uganda, and Jordan, as well as, I believe, some participants from Elsevier. So it's great, and I think we have many more. And I think now this is the opportunity to talk about a very important issue that has to do with identifying pockets of digital skills inequalities and support planning for the enhancement and enrichment of digital capacities in students in nursing as learners, as professionals, future professionals, but also as citizens. As I said earlier, because I've seen that more people have joined, we aim to present case studies from Portugal and Greece today. And we're very much looking forward to discussing with you. So I wanted to give a brief overview of our team so that you know where we are coming from. So we are an extended team with colleagues from the School of Health here at the Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen in Scotland. So you can see the key partners here. But also we want to acknowledge the participation of Jennifer Elliott, Cameron Smith, and Scott McPherson. And the collaboration is with the Robert Gordon University, the Ionian University in Greece, the Hellenic Mediterranean University in Greece, and also with Lisbon, the School of Nursing in Lisbon in Portugal. And we're also currently collaborating with nursing colleagues from Slovenia and Poland on the basis of a collaborative research funding proposal. And we look forward to working all together. From Greece, we're delighted to have with us Professor Petros Kostagiolas and Dr. George Kritsotakis. Professor Kostagiolas works within the area of information services management, but also very much within health research. And Associate Professor George Kritsotakis works in healthcare management, public health and social epidemiology. I'm also delighted to have with us Professor Tiago Nascimento from the School of Nursing in Portugal, together with Tiago and Professor Andrea Silva da Costa from the same school. We have collaboratively enabled the translations of the toolkits that we are going to present to you today. Of course, we have our team, Dr. Elo Luders and Emma as well. Kay Higgins from our school, and Emma is going to give us a brief presentation of the Scottish scene, a few words from that. I should really say and emphasize that the project directions are on global health equity. So we want to address the digital divides and promote inclusive education. And we have research that addressed neurodiverse students as well. So basically underserved student populations, we have an interest in that, but also we have a focus on health workforce development in a way that aligns with the goal of the World Health Organization for strengthening nursing education and digital readiness. And we very much focus on mental health and well-being because we have given a specific emphasis towards that. And we know that this is in alignment with mental health and youth empowerment agendas of the World Health Organization as well. So we have previously published 4 papers. Two of them actually are in the Journal of Advanced Nursing in the UK, which is a top-tier nursing journal in the UK with a strong impact factor, and we have really, I believe, made quite a lot of impact already with this work. The work started as an interdisciplinary research project, so there's really nothing to stop anyone from addressing other students beyond nursing students as well, especially the health domain, which we have worked more proactively within. And we focused on nursing because there was a great need identified with that domain So to date, we have gathered data from thousands of students across the different data collection phases of the project, and we have really conducted several cross-sectional empirical studies with students, but also with staff. And I just wanted to say that the Royal College of Nursing here in the UK, because I know we have a few participants here today with us, we have the privilege of having them with us, has described that every nurse should be an e-nurse, able to use technology to maximum effect and to achieve, to prepare, the kind of workshop that is empowered. So it's really important to think about nursing as a digitally enabled profession and maximize the benefits not only for nursing students, but also for patient care. Okay, so I'm going to go to talk a little bit about the objectives of the project. And as I said already, we want to investigate the digital divides existing in nursing students, explore the impact of socio-demographic factors. For example, those can be age, but also urban versus rural backgrounds, years of study, learning disabilities, and so on, as well as attitudes and behaviors towards active engagement with digital tools and behaviors. But what distinguishes our work is really the element of co-creation. We have worked with students in partnership to promote an inclusive, equitable nursing education. And these days, we also moved towards embedding AI components into our toolkits. And of course, we want to foster excellence in nursing education. And today, this is a call to establish a consortium, a network of higher education institutions beyond the ones we have already been working with and liaising with. And we emphasize the critical need to consider digital upskilling in AI literacy as well, and specifically digital well-being as two key emerging components of digital competencies for sustainable and effective professional practice. Okay, so let's move on to talking a little bit about the alignment of the work to health literacy, because we know that this is very important for the World Health Organization and the agenda that has been created. And we know that according to the World Health Organization, health literacy means being able to access, understand, appraise, and use information and services in ways that promote and maintain good health and well-being. So if we think about it, health literacy means more than being able to access websites and technologies, but also it includes the ability to think critically, as well as the ability to interact and express personal as well as societal needs for promoting health. So I'm giving here a definition of health literacy, which is this ability to access, understand, appraise, and use information. So DigiCONS is providing really this aspect. So we look at information disabilities as a core component of modern health literacy. And what we aim to do is strengthen digital literacy among healthcare students to improve their ability to find and evaluate information, but also we move beyond information and digital literacy to expand to digital communication, digital research, identity management, well-being, proficiency with digital tools, and AI, as I explained earlier. Okay, so so these are the key components of the project. And I thought to also give this infographic because it's one we use quite a lot in our research. It was created by Digital Nation in the UK. And this is a picture with statistics about digital inequalities in the UK. Although the UK is a developed country, it is really important to look at this infographic that presents digital skills as a river between two banks to convey the digital divide. So you can see here key statistics, and the left bank captures the scale of digital exclusion. So we know, for example, that 3.7 million families are below the minimum digital living standard. We know that 7.9 million lack basic digital skills. And we know that 21 million of adults can complete the essential digital tasks for work. 1.6 million of adults don't have a smartphone, tablet, or a laptop. But on the left bank, it's really important to highlight that there are some really key differences in terms of digital access for health as well. And that concerns people with disabilities, older people who are left behind. And also, we know that there is a lot of digital divides in rural areas when we compare them to urban regions. So there is, there's a lot of research from the EU as well. These days, the EU is moving towards the 2030 Digital Decade Monitoring Mechanism, which is an annual EU framework that tracks progress towards digital targets and has key performance indicators. And the countries we work with, Greece and Portugal, previously has been highlighted as countries where there was a need for digital skills enhancement. Things are moving on, things are getting better, but I think still we need to understand that although we've moved a lot in terms of digital connectivity and tools, there is still a need to understand all of these, digital skills that are softer and understand what it means to develop a critical perspective towards the development of critical and digital literacy. So enough of me talking about this. We would like to involve you as the audience. We now have around 45 people in this event, and please do go to either www.mendi.com or scan this QR code, because we have a first question we wanted to ask. So what do you consider as the key information and digital literacy needs of nursing students? And so I'll leave it for a little bit longer, just in case you haven't got it yet, and we'll go back to it. But we'll leave it for a while, and we'll wait for you to take part. Let's leave it for a little while. And if maybe one of the team could post the link to the chat while I'm speaking, that would be lovely as well. But we will move on to talking a little bit more as you are. I can see now you have started adding things in my screen. Leave it a little bit longer, and we'll add that to the chat. I realize we probably need to share them a little bit later, as is not updating now, so gonna go back to this, but I can say that we have some of you saying ethical use of AI. Some of you, actually several of you are talking about ethical use of AI. Somebody is talking about ability to search for information via clinical databases, how to use basic IT programs in their work. And I'm going to go back to this so you can all take part. Feeling confident with accessing digital information and resources, understanding responsible and ethical use of AI, having questions about the use of AI including in assignments, awareness of AI boundaries and accountability, consistent access to internet, enabling them to use technology to its potential, understanding the role beyond the use of hardware, ability to be critical of the online resources, and searching key information online and knowing which sources are accurate. So brilliant ideas from our audience. Keep them coming in, but we do know now that you have a lot of interest on AI and also how to access confidently digital information resources. So we're very, very happy, because this is what our project is about. So now I'm going to move on. Keep on adding your ideas there as we're speaking, and also to the chat if you want it, if that is available. I believe it's available to everyone. Please feel free to take part. I wanted to talk a little bit about our Digital Competencies Survey scale. So you notice that there are a lot of different surveys around about digital competencies. But our scale is actually giving a description of the different scales. So you can see here, it's a 5-point scale from novice to expert. And also And also it is a self-assessment survey, and I'm going to talk about this, how we use it, although it is self-assessment. And we include a total of 11 digital competencies areas in our work, which involves a survey. And it's grounded on work that has been previously conducted by DISC, Digital Literacy Framework, and also the EU DigiCOMP framework, but we have contextualized a lot of these questions to be suitable for nursing education. And so you're getting something that is really meaningful for students because they can see how it relates to their work and their study. And it involves an anonymous survey of students where they self-assess on a number of different digital skills. It also has the collection of demographics, and it has a number of different open-ended questions in it as well. So we're going to go through some of these now. So you can see the 11 scales we have. These are important key digital competency domains. And you can, so behind each one of them, we have different questions. We continuously update and refine these questions. So it's not something that is set, it's an organic survey in collaboration with our partners. And the survey we have is holistic and future focused. This is how we perceive it. And we have now integrated AI competencies throughout the survey. And there is an overall digital competencies scale or question for overall academic work, which we find very, very helpful. So the survey starts with everyday life digital citizenship. So everything that we use from online services that have to do with e-government, e-health, e-finance, social participation, learning, employment, also, health literacy, and use of AI in daily life. And we're going to show you a few examples. We move on to ICT proficiency, so basic tools and devices, browsers, search engines, university systems, communication platforms such as this one, Teams and Zoom, healthcare systems, for example, electronic patient records, and AI power tools. We move on to productivity. That has to do how you manage your files, how you share information, productivity tools, formatting of your work, and also use of AI to enhance efficiency. Information literacy is all about the sources, searching databases, web sources, the ethical use of information, referencing, and detecting AI hallucinations. Digital research skills has to do with finding data sets, all about research, evidence-based practice, ethical data use, AI for research support in your research. Digital creation has to do with creating actually multimedia, video, audio, and so on, using data visualization tools, using apps, simulation tools, and AI-supported content creation. Digital communication has to do with professional online behavior, participating in those important healthy digital communities, following an etiquette for email communication collaboration, and also using AI-assisted tools for communication, of course. Digital innovation, we know that nursing students should be developing into the future innovators. So it's about engaging in healthcare innovations, for example, telehealth, collaborating for project design, promoting digital tools, and so on. Digital identity management has to do with managing online presence, privacy awareness, building your own professional digital portfolios and CVs online, as well as the use of analytics and AI to promote your work and understand the impact of, websites that you have created and so on. And really, the one that we really want to pay a lot of attention these days is digital well-being. And this one has been identified as one of the most important ones by nursing students in our surveys. It has to do with a safe and healthy use of technology, but also managing stress online and overload, and cyberbullying awareness, and AI and well-being, and what tools there are there. So these are the key components of our survey. And I'm going to show you a few of the questions selectively just to get an idea of them. So here is the everyday participation as digital citizen. So you can see that it addresses online services, it addresses social participation, use of AI in daily life, and different tools. So on the right-hand side, you can see actually the different AI questions we're incorporating into the survey. So every time we're incorporating AI, it is for that particular component of the survey. Here is the everyday life use of AI. This slide can show you a few examples from ICT proficiency. So this deals with how you use different basic tools, devices, university systems, as I explained. But you can see at the bottom how we've added a question on specialized AI-powered platforms in healthcare. So everything is really very much customized and tailored to address as much as possible health care and health-related needs and digital skills. Information literacy, this is very important for health information librarians, but also for practitioners and researchers. And also digital research skills, you can see them on the right-hand side. And again, you can see how we have incorporated AI questions for both the information literacy component, but also the research component. And you can see a few examples from the digital communication skills, things like data visualization, using apps and simulation tools, but also how we are incorporating the questions around AI-supported content creation. And when it comes to digital communication, you can see the questions about AI, how AI can assist communication for the communication of health-related information. The next one has to do with digital innovation, digital identity management that we haven't said here, but we have shared digital well-being because it's really important for us to give you a few examples of that. And you can see at the bottom again the question on AI. And that's a brief overview, a snapshot of a few areas of the survey to get you interested, and we can actually share it with you if you take part in a network and you are happy to collaborate with us. So we had a lot of interest from external people, and you can see some of this. Some of you are here. So we wanted to thank you so much. I know that our partners from Slovenia and colleagues from Pakistan are here, and we will follow up with initiatives. For that, we want to thank you very, very much for your interest because it has been an incredible amount, and we're very pleased. And now I'm going to briefly talk about the toolkit. Very briefly, because I know we need to allow time for everyone to speak, but it's a companion to the survey that I have just described. So once the students have filled in the survey, they identify an area where they want to upskill, and then they have to proactively source open-ended, open-available resources to co-create this toolkit. There are already different versions of the toolkit, but it can be used as a yearly activity to embed it into nursing education. And so it incorporates all of these skills as well. And it shows, it shows the work of the students as well. And it gets them to actually proactively participate as agents of change and agents of their own learning. They have responsibility for this, and they can see how, why it matters. So there is this research that we're conducting. Then what it does is that it bridges the gap between diagnosis, which is the survey, diagnosis of digital skills gaps, and action, which is the training component, but also encourages a scaffold development of competencies and an active experiential learning, an approach that is highly useful for educators designing digital literacy curricula. And I think it aligns well with contemporary digital transformation agendas in healthcare. So here we have a little bit of an overview of how it works for you. As I'm talking about it, you can see. But really, what we've done is we have now moved on to translations in Portugal and Greece. And we can show you those, but the toolkit is available as an ebook. It's already available on a website. You can download it, you can have a look at it, you can browse the pages. It's not a static document, as I explained, so all of these change continuously. So it's not the final version. There is not a final version, in fact. So feel free to, we'll share again the link to the website for you to have a look at it. And just, very quickly, just to show you here, I'm going to go back again, that we are translating the toolkit and this, in different languages. And this is the Greek version of it. And also this is the Portuguese version we're currently working on. So there could be different versions in different languages as well, if you want to be involved. I'm just going to give a brief overview of the process then. So we start with stage 1, this kind of identification of digital competencies with the survey. Stage 2, we identify the barriers. So you can use the survey with a group of students if you wanted to see where your group of students is, and then select perhaps an area, maybe AI, maybe digital well-being, where you want to really place focus. And then the toolkit co-design. We can embed this into your nursing program for the participatory development of digital competencies of students. And stage 4 is that integration. And stage 5 is the evaluation. So we test the usability and the relevance of the toolkit. And again, it can happen as part of a yearly process. I think I'm aware that I have used a lot of my time, but I just wanted to, I will share these slides with you. It has all our, 3 of our publications to show you with some of the key digital competencies gaps. So this is the second one. We focused on the neurodiverse students. And the last one has been the evaluating of the co-created digital competencies toolkit, the one I just showed you. You can take a copy of the QR code and have a look at it. But very much we are interested to create other versions and for people to actually practically use it. Thank you. Thank you for the endorsement. I see some people putting some feedback. We did have very positive feedback from our students. It was overwhelmingly positive, actually. It was something unexpected because we know that sometimes nursing students can be very critical, and we didn't get that. So we were very, very pleased to see that. And we have plans for incorporating now the toolkit into our nursing curriculum. Emma, with the colleagues, is very much on top of this from September. And also we have plans with the other colleagues in Portugal and Greece. So if you're interested, get in touch. We can share with you all of the toolkits. We're almost ready to hand on to Emma for this. And as we are doing this, though, I would like you to go back to Mandy. And as Emma is speaking, I would like to ask you another question and to hear from you. We talked about a little bit the co-creation. I didn't have enough time to talk about it, but I will have another slide. And we want to ask you, do you find the co-creation as a useful approach? And, if you do find the co-creation as useful approach, what elements of co-creation would you like to address? And Errol, if you can move on, please, the Menti to the second slide, if you've done that already, perhaps, we will be able to see people logging in. And again, Palika, if you can please add the URL, if possible, to the chat to make this easy for everyone, that would be great. So what do you think about co-creation? And I'm going to say a few words and then move on to Emma's presentation. So for us, co-creation transforms students into active participants. We find it a very highly valuable approach in higher education because I think it shifts the role of students from passive recipients of knowledge to active partners. in both the design, development, and evaluating of learning. For the toolkit, we use Canva, so they also develop these important digital creation skills through the project. I think co-creation fosters a stronger sense of ownership and engagement, and also enhances motivation and relevance. This is what we found in our empirical study. It is really important to create more meaningful and contextually grounded learning resources for our students. And we need to design interventions that are better targeted and more inclusive. So co-created outputs, such as this toolkit, can be usable, can be accessible, should be accessible, and will be relatable to the students. Because they're not static like many other instruments, and they are co-created continuously with an international network of nursing students. And so students are able to articulate their needs, to evaluate resources, and contribute to real-world solutions. These competencies are directly transferable to professional practice and practices. And I think for disciplines like nursing, this is especially valuable, I would say, because it mirrors the collaborative and participatory nature of healthcare environments where professionals should work with patients, colleagues, other colleagues, but also with systems to co-produce effective healthcare. So if you're interested in promoting inclusivity and empowerment of students, we believe that this is, important work that we have developed. And so let us know what you feel about co-creation. Add your ideas. It would be lovely to hear from you. I'm going to go back to the slide. Okay, I took a lot of time from Emma, so I'm going to move quickly to inviting Emma, lecturer at the School of Health with a background in specialist community public health nursing. Welcome, Emma. Your work, Emma, focuses on digital integration in clinical education overall. You have been the nursing root lead for the MSc Advancing Practice, and you teach across the MSc Healthcare Leadership and MSc Advanced Practice Pathways. So I'm delighted to welcome you, Emma, to talk a little bit about the DigiCONS and the perspective of this in Scotland. Welcome, Emma.
Thank you very much, Gina. As everyone said, I'm Emma Hay-Higgins. I'm a lecturer in nursing within the School of Health at RGU with a background as a specialist community public health nursing, teaching predominantly across postgraduate programs, but also involved in undergraduate nursing education. And a key area of interest for me is digital health. It's particularly about how do we support students to develop their digital literacy, how to build their confidence, and how to really encourage that critical thinking, which some of you highlighted as a key area of development. And ultimately, how do we support students in improving health and care outcomes? So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how the DigiCONS approach fits both with current and future-focused policy and practice across nursing academia, but also within health and social care settings. Next slide, please, Dina. So digital transformation is reshaping health and social care globally. But what does this actually mean? Many of us are now really familiar with using a range of digital technologies in both our personal and our professional lives. That might be health and fitness apps, e-consultations, or documenting in electronic health records. At the same time, the potential of AI is becoming ever present in our discussions, and it is a time of transformation. It's exciting, but there's also some trepidation. A recent King's Fund project exploring AI and digital transformation highlighted that many health and social care leaders feel kind of stuck in a paradox. There's an urgency to accelerate, but also there's a clear need to take a human-centered approach. That means recognizing both strengths and gaps in knowledge and capacity so that people can effectively navigate and lead within this evolving landscape. So we know that those working and learning in health and social care, they need digital literacy skills, but they need to understand where they're at currently, what their learning needs are, and how can we best respond to those. And I'm sure either yourself as a student, as a professional, as an academic, you've seen students come in with a wide range of digital skills and competencies. And often those strengths and those development needs are not always where we initially expect. So this learning needs to be practical, but it needs to be future focused. So the World Health Organization, they highlight that digital competency learning works best when it's collaborative with discipline-specific educational initiatives that build both on local and global capacity. They emphasize the importance of communities of practice, the value of peer learning networks in sharing ideas and testing thinking, which is why we're here together today. Next slide, please. But actually, why does this matter? What's happening here? Within nursing, we want our future nurses to engage confidently with digital technologies, but also to think critically about them. It's important there's not simple sort of automatic acceptance, but equally there's not widespread reluctance either. As we've mentioned, as we just discussed, many people are familiar with digital tools such as electronic health records, digital communication, but we're also seeing that real rapid growth in AI-supported tools, whether that's for sort of personal productivity, for research, for knowledge generation, or personalized health. And all of these areas require consideration, not just generally, but also from a distinct nursing perspective, particularly around the field of ethics and digital well-being. There is also an increasing recognition that the digital environment itself can be seen as a determinant of health. So, but this isn't, it's not just about using digital technology, but also developing capacity to support others to use it effectively. So nurses play a key role here, particularly in supporting people and communities. And then that helps raise important questions about accessibility, about inclusion. How do you respond to the digital divide that Dina was highlighting in that initial infographic? How can digital literacy enhance or potentially inhibit healthcare outcomes? What is the nurse's role in mediating these challenges? And these are all key competencies that we need to consider within nursing education. It's also worth noting that within the UK, the Nursing and Midwifery Council, they will be discussing potential changes to the code and the revalidation process next month. And some of those early themes that are coming up for discussion include the use of technology, including artificial intelligence, and they really highlight the importance of future-proofing standards in response to those evolving and rapid changes in health and social care, and really emphasizing a need for us to focus in on this area now. Next slide, please, Dina. So actually, we're in a really fortunate position in Scotland. There actually is clear vision and there's a strong policy focus supporting development in this area. And there is clear policy recognition that the workforce needs support in developing leadership capacity within the digital field. However, this can only happen through a real focus on skills and capability development, and that starts with the education process. The Digital Health and Care Scotland Stakeholder Engagement Group, they highlighted that digital inclusion needs to be embedded within the overall model of health and social care. Basically, in other words, they were saying digital should always be an option if appropriate. So practitioners need to be able to explore what works best for the person accessing support and work with them to identify the most appropriate and accessible approach. But the only way practitioners can do this effectively is if they have the right skills and confidence themselves. We know this can't always be supported in practice. There's real key challenges around staff capacity. And that's why kind of embedding this from early on and starting these skills in education is of real importance. So digital health is an exciting area that, there's strong support in Scotland for innovation and collaboration through initiatives such as the Digital Health and Care and Innovation Centre. But if we want nurses to innovate and collaborate effectively, they need to see themselves as co-creators, as leaders, as involved in that process. And that begins during the education process. So DigiCONS supports this by promoting empowerment, by promoting ownership, particularly through having that self-assessment process and co-creation within the toolkit approach. Next slide, please, Dina. So what's the current landscape in Scotland? Again, we're really lucky in Scotland. As we said, we have access to policy, to resources, to frameworks that give direction to this work, especially some of the TORAS resources for health and social care professionals. But we're also aware that these are not global resources and not accessible to all. And even when we have when resources do exist, sometimes the volume of resources can feel overwhelming or difficult to navigate. particularly when people are already time limited. Alongside this, there are wider considerations. We need to think about professional conduct, think about student pressures, student responsibilities, and the challenges of navigating rapidly developing areas such as AI. And there is also an increasing awareness of the impact that digital health can have on mental health and well-being. So DigiCONS isn't about creating more resources. It's more about focusing on curating existing resources in a way that responds to students' self-identified needs with a clear discipline-specific focus. And this was a key finding from the research underpinning this work. So rather than competing with existing provision, it's about creating opportunities for engagement and supporting learners to feel empowered as active participants in their development. Next slide, please. So really reflecting from a nursing academic perspective, and within this landscape we've discussed, DigiCONS offers an opportunity for students to be actively involved in their own digital development. So the introduction of a Digital Competencies Survey and Toolkit that provides an evidence-based approach to curriculum design. It allows students to explore a wide range of digital competencies, including ICT proficiency, productivity, information literacy, digital creation, digital research, things that you've been highlighting within that initial Mentimeter as you think are really important competency areas for student nurses to develop. Importantly, it supports students to accurately assess their own skill level rather than relying on assumptions, such as that idea that all young people are digital natives, and we know that this just doesn't come out as true within the research. In doing so, it can highlight inequalities, so students might have really strong skills in some areas, whilst having clear gaps in others, and then these can be meaningfully addressed through engagement with the toolkit. And in addition, involving students in co-creating toolkit resources that ensures that the focus remains on their recognized needs and enables the curation of resources that are then directly relevant to them within their journey towards contemporary nursing practice. So I'll pause there and I'll hand back to Dina, who will introduce our next speaker.
Thank you very, very much, Emma. And we do have a lot of feedback from the audience. We will have a look at it at the end of this session on co-creation. Thank you very, very much. Keep on the comments coming in. And we're going to move on to invite our international partners now. And it's lovely to have you all here with us. I would like to invite Professor Petros Kostagiolas, who is Associate Professor at the Ionian University in Greece. Petros works in collaboration with Dr. George Chrysotakis, who is an Associate Professor in the Hellenic Mediterranean University. And they will discuss a little bit about the current progress in the Greek scene. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. Welcome, Professor Petros Kostagiolas.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm privileged and very glad being with you in this webinar. And summing up the DigiCONS efforts is actually I'm quite impressed of the work that has been done. So thank you very much for the webinar, Dina. Another good effort and coordination. Thank you all. Now, as in every research trajectory, we haven't started with the project itself, but actually it has been quite a few years of research that we have been summed up together, and first results made available quite a few years ago. Our previous research explored the information-seeking behavior of healthcare professionals and patients, highlighting the information needs, resources, and barriers affecting evidence-based decision-making and healthcare management. More recently, our work has expanded towards health literacy, digital health literacy, and the competencies required to effectively navigate in the increasingly complex digital health environments. Now, this research has been informed by well-known models, theoretical models, such as the Wilson's information behavior models, which explains how individuals identify information needs and seek information in various contexts. The European Digital Competence Framework, DigiComp, which describes what is needed to be digitally competent in today's socioeconomic environment, and the integrated model of health literacy, which conceptualizes health literacy as a comprehensive ability to assess, understand, appraise, and apply health information in health situations, promoting health and preventing health issues, health problems. Together, these frameworks have enabled us to explore relationship between information behavior, digital competencies, health literacy, patient empowerment, and health outcomes. And then we arrive to the DigiCom project. Next slide, please, Tina. Thank you very much. So as I said, this project gave us the opportunity over the last year to contribute, to put things together, and we are delighted. Thank you very much for this excellent coordination and work. Now, the Greek research teams includes myself from Ionian University, the Associate Professor George Chrysotakis from Hellenic Mediterranean University, as well as other colleagues, postdoctoral researchers, PhD candidates from our universities. For us, this project offers a fantastic and valuable opportunity to assess nursing students' digital competencies in Greece using a validated discipline-specific instrument. By identifying strengths and gaps across key digital domains like the ones explained before, we aim to inform evidence-based recommendations, and this is very important, so we have evidence to support the recommendations in order to develop a digital competent nursing workforce of the future. Next slide, please. Within the framework of DigiCONS collaboration, we were privileged to organize in October 2025 at our university in Corfu, Ionian University, an international workshop titled Advancing Digital Competencies in Nursing Education. Through this three-day event, we strengthened our collaboration, and I think we made a lot of progress. We shared future research priorities and opportunities for joint project development. This first workshop also strengthened the engagement with key stakeholders, including the WHO Athens office in Greece. All colleagues involved in the DigiCom project are, of course, most welcome to visit Ionian University again. Thank you, Dina. Next slide, please. Now, following the first workshop, the DigiCONS project has led to the development of two Horizon project proposals. One for the calls the EU Horizon Witera, and the other one for Horizon Widening Call. From our perspective, these proposals represent for Greece strategic initiatives to investigate and address digital competency gaps among nursing students with a particular focus in artificial intelligence and digital well-being and inclusive learning environment. As a university professor teacher, I find this the co-creative idea fantastic, and I think it will engage students in Greece as successful as we have experienced in UK. We are thankful, of course, for the leadership of and the coordination from our good colleagues from Portugal, Professor Andrea Costa and Professor Tiago Nascimento, who are here, as well as the support expressed by the head of the WHO office in Athens, Dr. Joao Brenta, and office representative Ms. Konstantina Vasiliou, who gave us their support for these proposals. Next slide, please, Dina. Now, as has been already mentioned, through the DigiCONS project over this year, we are preparing ourselves, and we have translated and culturally adapted the Digital Competencies Toolkit in Greece, and the associated survey instrument, the questionnaire that relates to the assessment, the self-assessment of the digital competencies in the Greek context, in the Greek language. I would like to thank for that my PhD candidate, Aphrodite Leri, who developed the first draft, and Professor George Kritsotakis, my colleague, for editing, suggestions, discussions. We try to ensure accuracy and contextual appropriateness, enabling assessment of digital competencies among Greek students, hopefully the year to follow. Next slide, please, Dina. Now, looking ahead, our work will progress in two complementary directions. The first one is following the DigiCONS project, and we aim to generate evidence and evidence-based policy recommendations for nursing students in Greece. For that purpose, we are finalizing our discussions with institutions in order to participate. And then we will proceed with all required, that is ethical approval, processes, data collection, engagement of students, analysis, and then dissemination of results, reporting, and publications. Secondly, the second direction is to connect digital competencies within the growing health literacy ecosystem in Greece and in Europe by drawing on insights from the MPOL network projects and by further researching health literacy aspects and roles for nursing professionals across many different healthcare settings in Greece and overall. Advancing this agenda requires strong partnerships and continuous collaboration that holds in time. This is one case. Thank you very, very much. None of this can be achieved alone for Greece. I would like to thank you very much for the opportunity of presenting our perspectives in DigiCONS, and looking forward to the next steps and the discussion that will follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Professor Kostagiolas. It's always a pleasure to have you with us, and we look forward to our continuing collaboration, of course, and a lot of ideas there, and a lot of connections with other projects, which I think is really, really interesting. Thank you. We are ready now to move on to our next presenter, and I'm very pleased to welcome also our collaborators from Portugal. So Professor Tiago Nascimento, Professor Andrea Silva de Costa. I know that Professor Tiago Nascimento will give us a short overview of our collaboration so far, and we did have an event in Portugal as well, where we visited Lisbon, and we had a lot of interesting discussions and presentations. So we look forward to hearing from your perspective. Welcome, Professor Tiago Nascimento.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's a huge pleasure to be here with you. Thank you, Professor Constantina, for the opportunity for this event. I would like to endorse a huge hug, and I'm really happy to be with all of my colleagues here. It's been a great journey, and what I want today is to share with you this little story. And first, let me start with a word why I'm standing here. I'm a professor, as Professor Constantina said, at Escola Superior de Enfermagem da Universidade de Lisboa in Portugal. And for some years now, our work has lived in this intersection between nursing education and digital transformation in healthcare. This is a project that I've been working with Professor Andrea Costa, and that's it. We really look into how can we prepare nurses not just to use technology, but to think critically about it. That interest brought us into this huge collaboration with our fellow colleagues around digital literacy, and that's precisely from that relationship that DigiCONS grew. So for me, And for us, this project, it's not a new departure. It's a natural continuation of the partnership that we deeply believe in, and the work is here. And as you already saw, it's wonderful to see how much this project has grown in the last years. So, and that matters. And because digital competency is no longer a peripheral skill for nurses, it's becoming central to understand how care is delivered, documented, and improved. Yet the way that we teach has often lagged behind. That's one of our genuine preoccupations. So, too frequently for us, digital skills are bolted onto a curriculum as an afterthought and taught to students rather than with them. That's the huge issue that we are dealing today. So, DigiCONS was built in this challenge that answers our question. This international education research initiative grounded in one deceptively simple idea. Nursing students should be co-creators of their own digital learning and not just the passive recipients of it. That's how we understand this project. So this project brings us to a new level of understanding and the research regarding digital health literacy. So what I want to bring you today is our institutional part in this story in 3 chapters: where we have been, where are we now, and finally where we are going. Dina, if you please. Thank you very much. So every partnership, of course, begins with people, and that's it. We have wonderful people with us. This project, more than the outcomes, more than the articles published, more than the calls and the projects submitted, is about people. So when we joined this consortium, to be honest, the first work was not technical at all. It was human. We have to build a new language, a lot of institutions, 3 different countries, and different academic backgrounds and different healthcare systems. So we invested a real time to explore what this concept of co-creation really means for each one of us, and what is the different demandings between of us, because that's not simply consulting students, but generally sharing this learning with them. So we do this work, how we conduct our methods, how are the evidence that we sustain our work on, and the work is or was or is still work on how our assumptions about how digital competencies is best developed. So we did this work not only with ESL, of course, with our institution, but we felt the need to first map our Portuguese context. We looked to our curricular realities, where our digital content, if it lived or not in our nursing degrees, where the gaps are, and how ready our students are for change and to increase or to introduce this kind of concepts. And this matters because this toolkit that was designed cannot simply be imported. That's one of the most important things. Context is not a simple detail for us. So it's different in this. All of this work relies on a difference between a resource that is used and one that only gathers dust. So we should look at this carefully. And this groundwork really turned in concrete action. And together, as Professor Costagiolas also mentioned, we submitted not only 3 but 4 funding applications. The last one, we are still waiting for the results. And these applications has the great intent to sustain this work, to scale it, and to give a future beyond a goodwill and beyond all of this work, a lot of this being voluntarily done. But we want to increase. We want to reshape the future when we talk about digital health literacy, and that's what we want to become, or to give in the future a huge concept or a huge community of persons, of academics, of professionals who deal and who think and which reflects on these questions. So this partnership became tangible also with this mobility, and also Professor Constantine also already mentioned, and Professor Petros already mentioned, we have the opportunity to share and to be in each other's houses and to understand how each one work. So these visits did something really important. We really turned the project on the paper into a community of colleagues who trust one another, and that's one of the most important things. So that's one of our major things that I can share with you. And if you want to invite or if you want to become part of this project, that's one of the most important things that I can promise you, that I can assure you. It's this way of being professional, but have a huge or a very proximate way to work and to deal with projects and deal with all of the work. So Dina, if you want to share the next slide, please.
Of course, and thank you very much for this comment. I appreciate it. It's a lovely comment to hear, and I second that. Thank you.
To be honest, Professor Constantina for me is not Professor Constantina, is the boss. So because the whole idea, and that's it. And please let me be more informal, but that's it. All of this work relies on her thoughts, her ideas, her reflections, and then she built this huge team. And I can stress enough this question. So in the present, where we are, let me tell you where we are now, because the present is where this project, where the project and the idea stops being an idea and starts becoming education. And I want to share you three things that are happening right now. It's happening right now at our institution, and they are built in one another. First, I would like to say that we already translate the DigiCONS toolkit into Portuguese language, and of course this sounds really straightforward, but anyone who done it knows it is not. Translation, it's not word for word, and of course it's more complex than that. So we want and we use a PhD student to conduct this translation. So we want to become more aware, and we want to, this cultural and linguistic validation could be or should be really adapted to our cultural setting. So our second part was is still the cultural linguistic validation of the project's measurement scale for the Portuguese context. And this is one of the heart of this work we want. And as Professor Constantina shared with us, we already have the survey. So we have the ethics committee approval. So we are dealing with the next processes. So this is the big difference between a good initiative and a defensible research that we want. That's one of the huge things that we want to achieve. And third, and for me, to be honest, the most important is the fact that we are embedding this toolkit directly in our undergraduate nursing degree. Not an optional workshop, not an extra curricular unit that only the most motivated students could attend, but we are weaving this into the formal curriculum so that every nursing student that we educate encounters these co-created digital resources as a normal, expected part of becoming a nurse. That's one of our huge ideas, more than an idea. That's one of the huge applications that we are implementing the next year, the next academic year, in order to make these real. And that's one of the things that toolkit get out of the shelf and then becomes applicable to our Portuguese students. We are really looking forward for this to happen. And then the future. Dina, if you don't mind, the last slide. And that's it. This brings me finally to where we are going, because the value of this work will be measured not by only how it started, but especially what endures in the end. So we have 4 priorities in our direction as an institution, of course, but as a part of this consortium also. We will act in the funding applications. Of course, we need to shape the scale on what comes next. We want to consolidate, we want to expand, and that's it. We have these ambitions to become more sustainable in the future. And as Professor Costagiolas was explaining and sharing to us, we will continue to analyze the data that we will now collect impact. And with these validated instruments in hand, we will be able to evidence the real effect on these digital competencies. So we want to show what works and what we should refine. That's one of our major challenges in the next month. And that's it. We want to, of course, to create the bonds. They have been already created, but we want to deepen this relationship between our institution and our partners, and to move beyond a single project. So that's it. We want to build an alliance, and Constantina is working very hard on this strategic alliance, because we want to carry future collaborations in research, in mobility, in education. So every step we can collaborate it, we should be there. And finally, that's it. One of the major achievements will be this network that Dino will explain to you further, that we can continue to create, co-create, to share and to improve after the project ends. Not only this project, but the other projects that we can work with, because this will be the true test of a project, and that's what we want to become. We want to make this a legacy, and that's it. Dana, thank you very much for your work. Thank you very much for all my colleagues. It's been a pleasure to work with you all, and Professor Andrea endorse you. A huge thank you also. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Tiago. That was excellent. Thank you so much. And I really like this idea of us being humans and enjoying being part of this team, even beyond the research, even beyond the collaboration, beyond the proposals and the papers. I think it matters really to have a good working colleagues, and I think we have found the team. So, and now we are looking to expand our family. So this will be, as you said, a call for anyone interested to join us on this endeavor. And what it involves is becoming a member of our DigiCONS network. So we want to create an international community that is dedicated to these ideas of advancing digital competencies. Specifically, we are building towards AI literacy, as I said, and digital well-being in nursing education. And what we envisage with this network is that we bring together educators and researchers to collaborate on this shared mission and vision, you may say. How can we understand and how can we bridge digital competency divides among nursing students, and how we can co-create this idea of inclusive, equitable, and informed learning environments informed by students. So, as I said, and we all said here, we emphasized several times, is that DigiCONS moves beyond the one-size-fits-all approach to digital skills development, and we want to focus on social-culturally sensitive and context-aware resources that are open, so we can share openly with others. So we want obviously to empower the next generation of nurses, but also we want to address the current phenomena, AI, literacy, the need for that. So what this network will do is that mainly we'll carry on with this work in terms of developing joint research proposals and collaborative projects. So we will expand the collaboration to other countries. And we want to support the sociocultural adaptation of the toolkits, as well as the implementation and the final evaluation of them. So that is both, the survey, as I said, is a continuous developing tool. We revisit it when things change and constantly things change, but mainly the digital toolkit, the Digital Competencies Toolkit is the one we're interested in for the social cultural adaptation. So you looked at the translation, so we want to do those in other languages as well. And what we're planning to do, and it's not set in stone, we have thought about 2 showcase meetings per year to showcase our collaborative research, as we are doing now with this event, share progress, our innovations and findings. But also there would be additional optional quarterly research focus sessions if anyone wanted to keep up, to catch up, just really to keep the team going. So we do have the QR code for anyone interested to fill in their details. Please do. We look forward to having you in the team. We're going to take a little break over July to recharge our batteries and come back renewed. But from about around the middle of August, we are coming back to very much focus on these collaborative endeavors. And we are aware that you have already been posting and adding your ideas on the Menti. And we want to spend the last 15 minutes actually discussing with you. And we know that you have questions in the question area. I forgot what is called, the question area, Q&A. And but you know, either use that or you can use a chat. The Q&A area is anonymous, I understand, whereas the chat, you can see your names. So feel free and take a look at that and add your ideas about the next question, which is really, what are your key takeaways? What are your key takeaways from this webinar? And what are you interested in? What took your attention? What are you planning and hoping to do in terms of either your nursing education program? We can talk about practice as well. We haven't expanded to the practical implications of this for incorporating this in training for nurses, but we do know that nursing students go out away to practice. They do have practice placements, so we can really think of nursing students as semi-professionals because they're going to be involved in all of this care, healthcare, and that's how we approach them actually as professionals already. So do let us know what caught your attention and what is really important for you. And we're gonna, well, Dr. Errol Ruders, who is one of our local collaborators in the project and our expert in digital technologies, we're really lucky to have an interdisciplinary team. I come from the School of Law and Social Sciences, whereas my other colleagues, Emma is coming from the School of Health, Errol is coming from the School of Quality of Enhancement of Education and Teaching. So we do have a very well-equipped team with also Professor Petrus Kostagiolis is coming from the information management perspective, and Tiago from the nursing practitioner. So we want really to hear from you. Let's start the conversation. Now, I would like to invite, I will stop my presentation. I would like to invite Errol to share the Mentimeter. And we did have a question in the Q&A. I believe, Emma, you have already answered the question, but the question was about getting students to work collaboratively in teams. And in fact, this is the plan we have. So we're going to put together the students to identify resources or quality resources to evaluate them and add them to the toolkit. And also we want to involve them in focus groups and discuss about the educational outcomes of this activity. We haven't been directly involved with practitioners, so nursing practitioners, as this is a very nice suggestion actually, as somebody who could mentor the students, but we had this idea of creating mentors and mentees, groups of students, because when students go through the survey, eventually they will identify digital skills areas where they feel they are strong in, and areas where they feel that maybe they have no understanding of. So this is a point where we can identify, they self-identify, so it's really important for critical discussions. If they self-identify wrong, you know, this is also a good point of discussion for this kind of misplaced expectation around the digital skills. And they will learn this from practice, from looking to find these resources, for understanding what this digital skills component or aspect means. So we talked about this, but I think that this suggestion is really wonderful to actually have maybe nurses as well, maybe practitioners. I don't know if that was the idea, or I have thought of this. But so, Errol, would you like to share please, if you can, the Mentimeter, because I know we
Yes.
have a lot of results there.
Yes, Lina. Okay.
So should we start
Can
from the last
begin.
one and then move on to, okay, that was, yeah, so question one, there was a lot of engagement there. That was fantastic. And we can see all of these ideas. Probably, yeah, there are more ideas. Confidence, academic literature. We very much address this in terms of the academic related digital skills for both for research, but also for information literacy. Being critical online as well. And I know there are some librarians in the group here who are very much working within the area of information literacy. Digital skills, many of our younger students cannot use a laptop and cannot access key programs, appropriate use of AI. Actually, we also found out that we thought that there would be lack of advanced digital skills, but we found that sometimes students struggled with very basic skills. And that was really the point where we could identify that. So for example, if you have a small group of students really struggling using a laptop in your class, you can straight away with the survey see how many students actually have indicated that. We want to keep anonymity just to, obviously protect the student. We don't want to name students because we don't want them to appear as less confident or competent. But you can see yourself as somebody who runs a module or a course. Where is your student group at the moment of either beginning the course, or it can be in the middle, or it can be at the end? When we evaluated the survey, actually students said that they wanted to have the survey in different stages of the course. So even before the course started, and then they wanted to follow up and redo the survey and see how they are getting on. Another participant is saying not experiencing barriers due to lack of digital experience, exactly, that remain hidden. So we want to bring them to the surface. And there are so many good quality open educational resources out there. That's why the toolkit is more of like a place where you can identify some of them. It's not obviously all of them. There will be many that we won't identify, but bringing together the force of students, especially if you can actually get them to collaborate and interact on an international level. I think this was the comment that our participant gave. That would be really fascinating. Imagine even when this project further develops, to bring together students from Greece, from Portugal, from Poland, from any country that you are from, Pakistan, from all the countries that are here in this webinar today. Anyone else wants to chip in and say something? I mean, there's so many good ideas and feedback here. Electronic patient records, health technologies, finding reliable health information to academic databases, which is the whole area we have incorporated, access to digital tools and authenticity, especially for the AI. So there's a lot about database. Actually, I didn't expect there would be so much about databases. It's good to see. Technology databases, literature search, study skills, lots of good feedback here. We'll be able to add the URL again to this, so you can keep on adding. Maybe if Palka could help us or error to add the link to the Mentimeter again, so more people can participate. And we're gonna share this with you after the end of the session. Let's move on to question 2, Errol, please. So here we have a mind map, a word map, or we can say cloud of words, where you have added your ideas about why is valuable to do co-creation with students. And here you are talking about understanding digital responsibility, reducing the risk of bias, ownership, inclusion, collaboration, communication, students becoming active partners, stronger commitment from students, active role modeling, participation, interaction, innovation, Unexpected surprise. I'm not sure what is that is interesting. Unexpected surprise and consistent language. So if you wanted to give us more insights into those, that would be very interesting to explore further. Researching and developing as well, you've got there. But I think for me, what stands out is the word empowerment, the word active, phrase active partners. And really thinking about that sometimes we exclude certain people because we simply don't have enough time in our programs to consider where the students are in terms of the digital skills and open the conversation with them. So by incorporating, embedding this approach, you can really have a more proactive and engaged way in which to understand actually where the digital device lie in your studio group. Also, I should say that in our plan, it doesn't take a lot of time. So it will take maybe an hour to explain the process, then half an hour to go through the survey, and then by incorporating the toolkit, maybe in a session, tutorial session within your course, you can enable all of that. So then we have a lot of rich resources that can be included in the toolkit. And in fact, the ones then that you identify as the excellent ones, the better ones, you can include in the toolkit and notify the students, and they then have this kind of ownership and they can showcase it. They can even request to add their names on the toolkit, and this straight away builds a richer portfolio, CV and portfolio for them to showcase externally because of the openness of this research and the which actually lies in the heart of the project. So we want to make this available to everyone as much as possible. So one key thing to remember is that none of these things are set. They will never be final toolkits, and that's really what it is. It's about us working together, and that's really the key message I would like to leave you with. I hope that you all got the QR code, but what we're going to do is we are going to email all the participants, and we are going to give you the slides. We're going to give you the feedback, this Mentimeter feedback, and we're going to give you the link to the network to join if you're interested. And let's look at this, the key takeaways from you. And if you can keep on posting, so more collaborations, which is lovely. We want more collaborations and more funded projects and make it sustainable. If we join our forces, we can get we can have the opportunity to develop larger projects. In fact, the EU-based projects require this kind of collaboration. Sometimes they require 10 different EU countries, but even beyond those, we know that developing countries have a need to really identify digital divides, and we are very much open to welcoming everyone really who feels the need to enhance digital competency in nursing education, as well put in this comment here. And somebody else is saying we need to further explore needs of post-residency students who return to academia, also considering the role of behavioral theory on digital competence, fear avoidance, exactly. And actually, Professor Dr. Petros Kostagiolas has mentioned that. So we really need to turn to attitudinal aspects of behavior. And as I mentioned in the